はい、どうも皆さんこんにちは、チキンです。今回はレッドシーズプロファイル実況プレイその15かな、やっていきましょう。前回はね、ダイアンさんまでがついに残念なことになっちゃいましたと。まあ、ジョージへこんでるんだろうなって感じです。前回までの操作。これは見なくていいですね。フォレストケイズンさんが一瞬出てきましたけど、まあ見なくて大丈夫でしょう。ジョージへこんでるだろうな。まああれ仕方ないと思いますけどね。まあほぼ事故ですよ、あれは。さあ、というわけでね、みんな多分テンションガタ落ちだと思うんですよ、今。
Zach, let's get back to the hotel. First Anna, then Becky, now Diane.
そう、ついにダイアンまで。
I'm not looking forward to writing this investigation report.
まとめるのが大変だ。
Agent Morgan. York. Do you have a moment?
ジョージ。
What is it, George?
There's something I'd like to talk to you about.
話したいこ
Do
と
you
が
have
ある
any。time later?
当
Can't
然
we
いいよ。
just do it here?
If possible, I'd like to go to a bar. Of course, we don't really have to.
いや、行こ
A bar? Now that sounds
う。
like
い
a
い
good
提案じゃ
idea.
ないか。
Zach, what do you think? We can go drinking with George, or turn him down and head back to the hotel.
いや、ジョージの話を聞くべきだ、ここは。何か彼も何かを抱えているんだよ。
George, that scar on your cheek. Where did you get it?
それは何の事件で。
This? Didn't I tell you? Well, it's not from work. I got it when I was a
子供
kid.
の頃
A
の
childhood injury. Tree climbing? I used to get a few scrapes myself climbing the big tree in our backyard. I used to climb it a lot. And fall out of it a lot.
This wasn't anything like that, though. It was my mother. She did it.
母に傷つけられた。
I'm sorry, George.
すまないジョージ。
Don't worry. It's ancient history. The world is flooded with unreasonable violence. The strong overpower the weak, adults over children, men over women, and criminals over their victims. I have no memories of my father. He left before I knew him. My mother would hit me every time I asked why. And it didn't stop there. If I ate too slow, left my shoes scattered around, TV volume too loud, she found reasons to hit me. Hit me bad. The worst was what she called the tree punishment.
木の制裁。
She'd whip my back with these thin tree branches like a whip.
Please, Mama. I won't do it again. That hurts, Mama. I'm sorry, please.
だからジョージの背中は。
Tree punishment was definitely the worst, I tell you. Just hearing those words used to make me shiver and want to pass out. And that's why I didn't want to show you those scars on my back. Every time after the tree punishment, she'd always say the same thing. This is hurting the tree more than it is hurting you. And me, being a naive, dumb kid, I believed her. I went to the woods to apologize to the trees. I kept asking myself, why is she hurting me this way? I thought long and hard about it. In the end, I've just figured I'm weaker than her. That's why. It's the law of Mother Nature at work. The strong eat the weak.
But now, you have the power to protect the weak.
That's right. Perhaps I should thank my mother for guiding me into this line of work. York. I've been an arrogant fool, haven't I? And if it weren't for me, both Becky and Diane would still be alive. I could have saved them both. You know, it's almost like They died because of me.
You're out of your mind.
何を言い出すんだ。
I invited you to this bar for a drink. But I guess this bar is my confession chamber. And I wanted you to
い
listen
や、仕方な
and
い
to
よ。
tell you. Well, you must already hate me for causing all these problems, not following your orders. York, I'm sorry. I'll follow your orders from now on. You'll have my total cooperation.
George, you've been as cooperative as you can be. You even invited an FBI guy to a bar for drinks. You've done a good job
そうだぞ、
protecting
ジョ
this
ージ
town.。And the folks here respect you for that. Nobody can blame you for anything.
そうだぞ。
Thanks. I do feel a little better.
よくやってる。十分よくやってくれてるよ。うん。よくやってるよ。まあ、でも、そうだよな。誰かに話を聞いてほしいよな。へこむもんな。
Since we're here, why don't you talk to a few other people?
おう、そうか。
I'll just finish off my drink.
悪いな、気を使ってもらって。
Let me know before you leave, okay?
わかった。さて。じゃ、話を聞こうかな。
Hey, Carol. Becky is dead. Diane, too. We've got Nick in custody as a suspect.
Nick didn't do it.
I know.
知ってるよ。
Carol, you took a locket from Diane, didn't you? A locket with this mark on it.
君は何を知っている？
I'm busy, gotta go.
음. お、歌うのか。聞こう。
I dream of you like a girl. There is something funny about the song we hid behind the door. They should see us. I have seen a haze from the night, muddy space. I dream of fear like prisoner. You are conscious of my innocence. Everyone's just pretend not to know. Life is but a dream.
「ブラボー」。このチープな感じがたまんないね。雰囲気抜群、本当に。というか、あれかな、この、ピアノマンの男の人はさ、不眠症の男の人だよね。話は聞けないのか。さすがにこのステージの上に上がるわけにいかないか。あとは特にないかな。でもほんと雰囲気抜群だった。もう一回話を聞こうかな。とは言っても何も話してくれないんだろうけどさ。 うん。まあでも誰かを一人当てておかなきゃいけないんだよ。ジョージ、私は帰るぞ。誰？
Sorry to keep you waiting, boys.
Zack, Emily is already a goddess of the forest.
Let's forget work for a bit and drink a little, shall we?
すごく綺麗です。
Why is she here?
I just thought the more the merrier. You know, to relax and get loose. Is this a
まずかったか
problem?
い？
No, of course not. Pardon me, Emily, but I'm pooped. I think I'll just call it a night.
George, I just
Georgie.
got here and you're walking
そう
out
だ
on
よ。せ
me?
っかく来たんだから。
I was hoping the three of us could have a drink and let out a little
いや、
steam.
全くだ。いい提案だ。そうしよう。
I'm afraid I've already had enough. And I already had a good man-to-man with York. So I'll see you guys.
ジョージ帰っちゃうんだ。すごい綺麗だね、エミリー。これはもう森の女神
I
様
think
だわ。
George likes you, but he's avoiding you all at the same time.
How astute.
There's a reason?
何か理由でも？
Nothing worth going into. It's a thing of the past.
昔のこと？
Okay. He did ask me out when I first came to town. I was still in high school.
ほ
But I never really considered him my type. And there's the age gap thing, too. I respect him, of course. Or I wouldn't have taken this job otherwise.
So, did you move to this town alone?
Of course not. I came with my parents.
Tell me about them then.
Sure, why not? My dad dealt in stocks in New York.
う。ほ
He was hardly at home when I was a kid, always working. Those pieces of paper were far more important to him than I was. Which is no different now, really. I don't see much of him.
う。うん。
My mother? Totally different story. A wonderful person that I still respect. She was always kind and understanding.
うん。
Not only that, but she would always help me find my way. She could be fierce, too, scolding me if I took a wrong step.
うん。
We had our battles, sure, but all in all, she was a wonderful mother.
Past tense?
だった？
Yeah, she's gone now. Cancer, just before I graduated high
ああ、
school.
そうなんだ。
She gave this to me just before she died. I take it with me wherever I go. It's what I treasure most.
ブローチ？
I'm sure she's very proud of you.
それぞれの思いがいろいろあるね。まあでもジョージはまだエミリーのことが好きってことか。だったらなおさら残っていけばよかったのに。まあそううまくいかないのが恋ってもんですよね。
I had a good time tonight.
いや、こちらこそ。
Good night,
See you tomorrow.
また明
York.
日。なんだい？
Yes.
Please, don't lie to us, okay?
I won't. Don't worry. I won't.
わかってるよ。さて、ホテルに戻ろう。あ、ちなみになんですけどね、前回言ってたワープアイテムは未だ手に入れてません。もっとこう、フリータイム、前あった何時から何時まで の間じゃないとミッションが起きないよみたいな時間になったら、そこで実況を1回切って取りに行こうと思ってますと。というわけでホテルに戻りましょう。ガソリン多分大丈夫でしょう。いやー、ジョージもエミリーもいいやつだけどね。あとトーマスごめんな、なんか一人で見張りさせて一緒に飲みたかっただろうに。
Zach, picking up from where we left off, remember?
How many years ago was it now? That multiple homicide of young girls in that college town in Illinois.
戻って事件を整理
All
しよ
the
う。
victims were cut open from the throat to the crotch. Ripped right open. During the autopsy, the second stomach was found inside the first victim's body. Of course, she didn't naturally grow a second stomach. One of the stomachs belonged to someone else. As more victims piled up, there was one with 2 hearts, one with 2 livers, 4 lungs.
まあその話はまた今
Different
度だ。
organs each time.
Zach, we're here. Let's continue our chat later.
さて、ちょっと事件をまとめましょう。ここまでの起こったことを。まあジョージとかエミリーの思いとか全く関係なくまとめるとだよ。よし、やろう。
Zach, let's go over our progress.
From what Olivia told us,
そう、
and the sketchbook we found at Becky's house,
その通り。
Nick and Diane became our primary
So.
suspects.
したね。
There were a couple of reasons for this. First, Becky gave the missing locket to Diane. Also, Nick has no alibi for when Anna and Becky were killed. We followed Nick to the art gallery, which led us, unfortunately, to our
その
third
通り。
victim. The third victim,
第3の被
Diane,
害者。
was strung up in the entrance hall of the art gallery.
あれもなかなかひどかったね。
Her hands were tied and a knife was sticking out of her chest. However, there was a marked difference from the previous crimes.
その通り。
Do you remember what that was, Zach?
もちろん覚えてるよ。それは犯行の直後だった。
That's right. Diane was still alive. This suggests that very little time had passed since the crime was committed. Which means the criminal was still close by. It was someone near
で
the
も
scene.
ニックは怪しくない。
There are 2 possible candidates. Nick, who was knocked out in the entrance, and one other.
もう一人。
Zach, who was the other person in the gallery?
フォレストケース。
That's right.
でもケースは閉じ込められていた。
We followed Willie, good dog, all the way to him. Cason's statement came out as follows. He and Diane were in a physical relationship. That was why he visited the gallery. The two were in the middle of such a meeting when Nick showed up. Diane lost her cool and shut Cason up in the basement.
そう。
Now, what did Cason hear when he was locked up?
ブーツの音。
That's it. The sound of boots passing by. Nick was wearing boots that day. Which means it was likely that Diane met with Nick in her room. Nick said he argued verbally with Diane about her playing around with men, but they eventually decided to go out drinking to make up. However, immediately after that, Nick was attacked by someone in the entrance hall and knocked unconscious. We saw the rest.
Zach, do you think that Nick is our serial killer?
いや、思わない。そう思わない。
Me too. Usher sent in a report too. He found a large volume of red seeds in
やっぱり
Diane's stomach. This confirms her as a victim of the raincoat killer.
レインコートキラー。
remaining leads. There is the locket, which is in Carol's possession, the man with the tattooed back, and the upside-down peace sign. There's a lot left to answer.
たくさんあるね。
I hope the coffee will give us more guidance tomorrow.
結局まだ何もわからない
Zach, what
か。
did you think about George pouring his heart out?
そうだね。
I was surprised. It's the end of a monarchy. And he called me York instead of Agent Morgan.
呼んでた。誰？こんな時間に。エミリー。
Emily? What's
どうし
going
たん
on?
だ？こんな時間
Do you
に。
know what time it is?
I'm sorry. I couldn't sleep, so I was drinking alone.
そうなのか。
My mother was a very kind woman. She always smiled so brightly. Baked cakes and cookies every day. She'd say that I needed the sugar because I spent so much time thinking. My father was always quiet. We never talked much. He was a federal agent, just like me. And he was hardly ever at home. The only words he ever had for me were harsh ones. I had a vivid imagination, and I remember he once said this to me. There are plenty of crazy things in this world. You don't have to go dreaming them up. And it's my job to make sense out of them. One day you'll understand what I'm saying. I found out later that my father was one of the first to ever use criminal profiling to catch bad guys. And so now I'm doing exactly the same job that he did. Like father, like son.
その通り。親子とは不思議
Can
な
I
ものだ。
ask you something?
なんだい？
Shoot.
Mind if it's something personal?
Fire away.
言ってごらん。
Who's Zach?
ついに突っ込まれる日が来た
Zach
か。
is a friend of mine.
Oh, so you do have friends.
Yeah. He's my only friend.
What kind of person is he then?
Well, I've never seen his face. But he's always with me, and we discuss everything.
When did you become friends?
A long time ago. Back when I was a child. I was 7. I woke up one morning to hear my mother crying in the living room. This wasn't normal, so I headed in to see her. My father was there pointing a gun at my mother. I was so scared. I closed my eyes, so I don't remember much more. But I do remember the words my father said to me. At times we must purge things from this world because they should not exist. Even if it means losing someone that you love. When I came back to my senses, they were both dead. He shot my mother and then killed himself.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it. Zach's with me. It was around that time that we became friends. I'm here. I'm with you, he said. I'll be here always. We can get through this together. Quite aside from that terrible scene in front of me, that voice seemed to make me calmer. And here we are, working together,
処世術かな。
getting through things. This is the first time I've ever told anyone about this. I wonder if Zach will get angry.
That's a sad story. But I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I'm sure there was a reason for what your father did.
I know. I think maybe I became an agent to find out why he did what he did.
Oh yeah, York, I forgot to thank you.
Thank me?
俺
For what?
You saved my life.
命の恩人
If you didn't save me at the gallery, I would have died along with Diane.
No need to thank me for that. I'm pretty useless. I couldn't save Becky. I couldn't save Diane.
What did you just say? Useless? I was never expecting to hear you say that. Huh. There might be a modest guy in you after all.
Finally, you noticed? You're a little slow, aren't you?
Maybe hopeless, but not useless.
York にもいろいろあったんだな。
Do you think Emily got home safely?
Anyway, I think it's more serious of a situation than I thought.
本当だよ。
Do you remember? Our conversation with Emily. She's really interested in you. I think she's starting to have certain feelings for you.
If that's the case, Zach, you and I are rivals. This is a very serious situation indeed.
おっとでも大丈夫。多分ザックは敵にならない。けど
Well,
ヨ
if
ー
it
クは
comes
ザ
to
ックの
that,
ことが大事
let
だ
it be a
よ。
fair fight.
男らしくフェアに戦おうじゃないか。うん。
Thomas! Let me out of here! Come on, please!
トーマスいないじゃん。
One second. Hate it in here, Thomas. I'm going mad.
まあ気持ちはわかる。
I know you're there! Come on, please! Thomas! 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 Thomas!
トーマス
Thomas!
え、なになにどういうこと？トーマスは何やってんの？なにこれ？ピースマークの写真があった。なにこれ？なにこれ？なにこれ？もしかしてトーマスそうなの？ちょっとだけ続きありますね。嘘だろ。
Previously during the investigation.
So, you want to find out everything there is to know about Diane?
Agent York, Nick is leaving the bar.
Wait! She's still alive.
Stop right there, Nick. You're under arrest for the attempted murder of Diane Ames. Emily, hurry!
You saved my life.
No need to thank me for that. I'm pretty useless. I couldn't save Becky. I couldn't save Diane.
こっからかー。久々に来たな。ティーブレイク。 どの部屋のドアが正しい？正解はどこだ？多分ここは不正解っていうことだよな。同じところ行ってるから。それともこのなんか葉っぱみたいのがヒントになってる？こっちに行け的な。こんなのあったっけ？カード。いや、カードはいらないかな、今は。あっちさっき通ったドアだよな。こっち行こう。この部屋は初めて入るけど。あれ？なんだこれ。法則がわからん。どうしようもないぞ。なんだこれ、全然わからん。何が正しいんだ？お、誰？びっくり。親父か
？Open this door.There is no turning back.
もちろん開けるさ。
You still want to enter?
違う。あの大富豪だ。その通りだ。ここにいるよりはマシだ。
Very well then. Off you go.
もちろん行くさ。あの時の。
Look carefully, boy. At times we must purge things from this world because they should not exist, even if it means losing someone that you love.
ふぅ。なんだ？あの木だ。あの木があったさ、今。なんだ？なんだってんだ。
Mr. Morgan, do you want a refill?
Yes, thank you.
Is the coffee that good, Mr. Morgan?
Coffee is a vital, investigative tool. I know exactly what to do now. It says to hurry, and the first letter of each line is H-A-R-R-Y. Hurry to Harry. Looks like the time that he was talking about has come. Let's go pay the problematic rich boy who owns half of the town a
だ
visit.
な。あの人は正直かなり気になる。
Polly, I think I'm going to go see Harry today.
Oh, really? He's a little strange, but I think he's the most trustworthy one around here.
一番まとも
I think you'll have fun with him.
If you say so, Polly, then we probably will.
Of course. Now, give me your cup, and I'll give you some more coffee.
I'll see you later, Polly.
Mr. Morgan, what about the coffee? Don't you want a refill? Your coffee!
いりません。さあ、というわけで今回ここまでにしましょう。チキンが実況するレッドシーズプロファイルその15でした。次回も頑張っていきたいと思いますので、よろしければご視聴の方お願いします。はい、チキンでした。ご視聴ありがとうございました。次回もよかったら見てください。さらばだ。いやー、もうなんかいい加減いろいろ気になることがいっぱいあるよね。あ、セーブある。よし、じゃあ皆さんそんなこんなで次回もよかったらというか次回もお楽しみに。チキンでした。